Bottom of the first hour here. It is the Vegas Take. Coming your way live, 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN. I'm Chris Wynn in for Brian Shapiro, along with J.D. Sharp, as well as Dennis Silvers here live in studio.
Baby, yeah.
Johnny taking control of things. Also behind the screen. We have, look, a lot. There's so much to speculate on when it comes to Washington, D.C., what's going to take place with the Mueller probe and other things, to be quite honest with you, because there's going to be a focus, of course, on the Southern District of New York and any other possible investigations that take place. So we'll certainly get into that. But Dennis will be handling things at the bottom of the hour, so I'm sure we'll get back into that. But
I do find it hard to believe that Donald Trump has not made one tweet about this yet.
That's surprising, given that he is not afraid.
He
is not afraid, right, JD, to get the fingers fired away on Twitter.
He hasn't tweeted in 10 hours.
When he has something going down.
That's very, very unbecoming of that. That's not like him.
It is
I'm
not
telling
something
you,
that's normal.
His people told him, lay low.
I could see that.
Till Attorney General Barr comes out with this thing. I'm telling you. Yeah.
We'll shift our focus over to some college basketball. Of course, March Madness in full swing. We're in the first round and getting set for the weekend
March
games.
Madness?
March Madness, little college basketball, little NCAA basketball going on all over the place, all over the country, Dennis.
Right.
It's all the fever. It's all the talk out there. And we are very pleased to be joined now on the phone lines by a former UNLV running rebel, a former North Las Vegas high school student as well, too, a Las Vegas basketball player. Anthony Marshall joins us on the phone line. We'll talk a little bit UNLV as well as the NCAA tournament. Anthony, we appreciate you spending some time on your Friday. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. No problem. I appreciate you guys reaching out to have me. I look forward to talking to you guys and discussing all the topics ahead.
Again, I got deceived because I heard, Carmelo. I thought it was Carmelo Anthony, man.
What? You're getting your words all mixed up, Dennis. You're all over the place. You're killing me. Come on now. So, Anthony, look, is there any better time of the year when it comes to college hoops than these 2 days, really? I mean, we're talking about the beginning of the NCAA tournament. Obviously now, of course, in the last 5-10 years, we've had these games that are played on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Yeah. But is it any better, really, Anthony, than that Thursday and that Friday when you get all of these teams getting ready to fire away and trying to win a national championship?
I don't believe there is. There's so much going on. And so many different teams playing and stuff like that. So, you get to experience teams that you didn't get to see play all year. It's a lot of underdogs that, won today. And, some of the powerhouses, they did what they were supposed to. So it's just a great time of year to see players come out and showcase their skills that, they probably haven't had that national spotlight all year to do so.
Kind of rough, though, for the Mountain West Conference, of course, with the loss of Utah State today and then yesterday with Nevada. I think, obviously, being in these parts, we like to see this conference do well, even if it is, some of our heated rivals or some of the teams that you don't necessarily, obviously, during the regular season root for, but it is we usually like to see them be successful when it comes to the big dance.
Could you say not represented this year? Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty. It sucks not to see a couple Mountain West teams in there. Mm-hmm. Even during my time when we would make it to the tournament and stuff like that. All year you were playing and go against the San Diego States, the BYU, the Utahs, and things like that. But when it came time for the tournament, I think all around as a collective, we were all rooting for one another because, we all represent the Mountain West. So being a former player, that still kind of sticks with me. So, anytime a Mountain West team can get in there, I'm definitely pulling for them. And it was pretty upsetting to see Utah State go down today.
Yeah, let me ask you a question because March Madness is so unimportant to me. But, when were you at UNLV and who did you play for? I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Oh, it's okay. I was at UNLV from 2009 to 2013.
Okay.
My first 2 years, I spent them with Lon Kruger, who is currently at Oklahoma.
Right.
And my last 2 years, my junior and senior season, I spent them with Dave Rice, who is currently an assistant at Washington.
At Washington, exactly. And I understand you played for Israel. You played professional ball in Israel. So my question to you is, do you still eat pork?
No, definitely not. The older you get, the more you got to be conscious of the things you put into your body.
Absolutely,
so, I stay away from the pork.
Anthony Marshall joining us here on the Vegas Take, coming to you live from KDWN. And, Anthony, of course, you did play at UNLV, and of course, the focus this past week, given the coaching change with Marvin Menzies now being out, and now the search being for a coach now here at UNLV. You, of course, as you mentioned, you were a player under Lon Kruger. You were also a player under Dave Rice. You are the last player, by the way, at UNLV that played in 4 NCAA tournament games. Is that correct? You played in 4 NCAA tournaments. In your career.
I am one of 2 players that did that. My former teammate and one of my friends, Justin Hawkins, he also was the other player that played into 4 NCAA tournaments. We came in together as freshmen, and we left out as seniors together. And those 4 years, we made it to the tournament together every year.
So you're the perfect person to ask this question, given that you were able to play under those 2 coaches, and you obviously being a Rebel alum and someone who is wired into the program has an opinion as to how things have gone with respect to coaches being dismissed. You saw, of course, what went down with Dave Rice here at UNLV, and now you saw, of course, also with Lon Kruger and him making the decision to go to Oklahoma. What were your initial thoughts when you saw that Marvin Menzies was let go as the head coach here at UNLV?
Just the way the season was going, there was a lot of speculation and stuff like that. So, I think everybody kind of sensed it. But, I've had the opportunity to meet with him a couple of times and have numerous conversations. And, he's a terrific human being, and I thought he was a great coach. I sat in on some of the practices and the things he preached to the team, and, togetherness and hard work and things like that. It was the right message. As a coach, you give kids the blueprint, and you try to bring the best out of them. And, they're supposed to go through and, execute that plan. And I think at times they really didn't. And, of course, it all falls back on the coach, But I'm looking forward to, whoever they bring in next, and, just getting back into our winning ways. The last however many seasons, I don't think it's been the caliber of basketball that us as Rebel fans and, Las Vegans are used to. So, with the future ahead, things are bright, and, it's something to look forward to.
Anthony, did you attend any games this year?
Yes, I actually went to the UNR game when we played them at home when I came here.
So you went to the one game when there was a crowd of maybe over 10,000 people, because besides that, there was maybe 2,000 to 3,000 people at every single game, which is completely. That's on the opposite end of the spectrum from when you. How many people do you think were in the stands on average in the games that you played at UNLV?
To my knowledge, it was pretty much sold out. I had people like asking me, could I get extra tickets, or hey, can your teammate give me a ticket and things like that. And games would be sold out when we'd be playing. You name it, like every game was sold out. It could have been a D2 school or anybody. Like people were filling those seats. So to see that, to not see that support now, it's difficult to deal with. Just seeing all those empty seats is very unusual. And like I said, with the future and everything coming up, I hope we could change that around. Before the Golden Knights and the Raiders and things like that, UNLV was, so to speak, our professional team. It's collegiate. But, for us, it was our professional team. So hopefully we can get things back rolling and get back moving towards those past times.
And what do you think the reason is for that dramatic drop in attendance?
I believe it correlates to winning. When you're winning, everybody's happy. Everybody wants to come out. But, when you're dropping games and stuff, people look at it like, why would I spend my money to go support something like that? So I think once we get back in our winning ways and, we get that national claim back and being ranked and all those things, I think the fans will return to supporting the team. Because I feel like they want to. Las Vegas is looking for something to support. You look at our past years and stuff like that when we were successful and having winning seasons, and the love and it was just outpouring. And now you look at the Golden Knights and what they're able to do when fans go into those games. So, Vegas, it's all about winning. And
right.
You win big.
Vegas is a winning city.
Right.
Exactly.
And not just dropping games, but getting blown out. Not even being within 3 to 5 points. I think fan bases really feel that when you lose games by 15, 20 points 5 or 6 times a year.
Yeah, that's very difficult. And throughout the years, I feel like we've always had so much talent. Honestly, I think these teams that hasn't really lived up to what they're supposed to do the last couple of years. I think they were more talented all the way around than the teams I played for, my 4 years there. And, just for them to not reach that, it's very disappointing. And, it's hard to deal with.
I've got a question for you. You said a while ago, Menzies, you thought was a great coach. If such a great coach, I mean, bottom line, let's be honest. Why the hell did UNLV end up with the record they had? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Bad record, empty seats, losing fans. I mean, how could you say he was a great coach? Come on.
I mean, the Vegas spotlight isn't for everybody. Those lights are bright, and they're either going to make you or break you and burn you up. You know what I mean? But like I said, I got to sit down on some of the practice, fit in on some of the practices, and the things he were like preaching and all those. They were great lesson points, and as a player, you have to take those in. And sometimes I feel like the players, sometimes they're young adults, they're kids, so to speak. So sometimes things go in one ear and out the other. Everybody has aspirations of playing at the next level. So I think sometimes the players, they get caught into the selfishness. Like, I got to do this.
Are you prepared to make a statement right here, right now on the Vegas Take that you're thinking about throwing your hat in the ring for the job?
No, not at this moment. I mean, coaching is definitely something I'd love to get into, in my later years once I'm officially done playing with basketball. And, a dream of mine is to be a part of the coaching staff at UNLV. I mean, what greater joy would I have? But at the moment, no, I'm not looking into it.
Former UNLV running rebel Anthony Marshall joining us here on the Vegas Take on your Friday and taking some questions. We're talking, of course, about the UNLV coaching situation and the program moving forward.
Hey, I've just, with all this university scandal going on, this and that, I could tell you if you give me $200,000, I could get it to the right people where you will.
I think
yes. Hey, that's Dennis Silver's thinking about wheeling and dealing right there.
Hey, Anthony. So names like Mike Miller, names like Mike Rhodes, Porter Moser, Thad Matta's been mentioned quite a bit here and there. Who do you think is the next best candidate to be the UNLV head coach, in your opinion?
It's so tough. Like you said, those are a lot of great names, and Mike played at the highest level. He knows, he knows what it takes to be a great basketball player. And you have a coach like that, and kids want to play for him, and you get those big recruits you want, and he can implement some of those NBA strategies and stuff into the college program. And I think that would be good. And then you have all those other coaches, and they have been successful at the collegiate level. So it's really hard. I think we just need to find a coach that's going to bring the best out their players, not only on the court but off the court, because as a basketball player, you only have so many years to play. There's life after basketball. That's one thing I loved about Lon Kruger and also Dave Rice, that they were great people. They just weren't great coaches, you know what I mean? So I think we need to bring somebody in like that. Yeah, to get the recruits and all that stuff is great, but we need to build a foundation that's going to give us longevity.
Right. When you break that down, a guy like Porter Moser, he's not going to get blown out in a lot of games. UNLV is going to play close. They're not going to get a lot of five-star guys, but the kids will definitely have strong GPAs. He knows how to lead men. But a guy like a Mike Miller, he's going to get the five-star guys. It's going to be an exciting brand of basketball. People are going to be very, very excited to come to the games. They'll probably be ranked in a time. He's going to get very, very strong guard play, which is huge, obviously, at the college level, especially during March Madness. I mean, look at Michigan State. They've basically built their foundation off strong point guards like Cassius Winston. Without him this year, they're nowhere near the tournament. Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree with that. And, basketball, it's not always about getting the five-star recruits. My first couple years at UNLV, I don't believe we had any. We just had solid players that wanted to play together and wanted to win games. With Kruger, we were pressing 94 feet the whole game. We had very tough off seasons to prepare our bodies for things like that. And, for us, defense led us into our offense. We didn't shoot the ball great, or we didn't score great or high rates or nothing like that. We just played great defense, and that allowed us to get out in transition and get easy buckets. And, like I said, you don't need the five-star recruits. You just need some good, some young men that's willing to play hard.
That's true.
And willing to play for the name on the front of the jersey instead of the back.
So you would rather have the Mike Miller type of coach or the Porter Moser type of coach?
Personally, it's tough to really choose between the two. Like, I feel like you can't go wrong with any. You know, like I said, as a player, your ultimate goal and dream is to play at the next level. And not even outside of the next level, Mike Miller was a great collegiate basketball player. You know what I mean? So he won. So he knows what it takes to win at both levels. So that would be great. And then you have the other coach where he's just a hard-nosed guy. You know he's going to bring the best out the players. So it's really a toss-up. I don't think you can go wrong with either pick.
When talking about UNLV basketball, Anthony, the really big part of the debate in the last few weeks to, basically in the last few years, to be quite honest with you, has been about what defines success with UNLV basketball now, right? Because I think there's the assumption that, it's one of those teams, as JD points out, and a lot of us point out that, hey, it's one of 3 teams in the West Coast that's won a national championship, or it's one of, a team, it's one of those, rare schools that have won a national title in the last 30 years. And is that the standard? Or is it, hey, you need to be in the tournament every year, or hey, you need to be in the top 3? What, in your estimation, when you think about UNLV basketball here in 2019 and going forward, what do you think success should be for this program?
That's so easy. That's so easy.
I think it's a combination of all those. Like, why wouldn't, we want to be in the top 3 every year and make it to the tournament every year and, work towards a national title? Mm-hmm. I think anything under that, you're selling yourself short, and you shouldn't be a Robo fan. Like, we should soar to reach the highest level possible. You know what I mean? Anything less than that is unacceptable.
Anthony, wouldn't you agree with me? Success for UNLV is simply filling every damn seat at Thomas and Nat. Right? Am I right?
That would be a nice start.
Okay,
exactly. It's a good start.
Short-term goals, and you got long-term
My
goals.
next question.
You mean Dennis not having 3,000 fans at a game in the middle of the week against Air Force isn't the standard you need to have?
True story. I was at a game. I was at maybe it was San Jose State. It was just a horrible team. And the student section, the Rebellion, they all had their Rebellion shirts on, REBELLION.
Really?
And there was 7 of them. There wasn't even 9 of them. They couldn't even spell out the word rebellion in the student section.
Success is filling.
For a team that won a national championship 30 years ago.
Yeah,
that is unbelievable.
Yeah, Anthony, what do you think? Where do you think Marvin goes from here? Is he going to be picked up by somebody else? Is he going to get another coaching job? And if so, where do you think he would fit?
I think he will get another coaching job. Like I said, he's a great person, and you've seen the success that he had at New Mexico State, and sometimes it just don't work out like that. You know what I mean? But I definitely think he will get another job, and I really don't know where's next. Because I haven't really been keeping up with what schools have openings and stuff like that. But I definitely think he will have another coaching job.
Anthony Marshall joining us here on the Vegas Take, former UNLV runner-up. We're talking about the coaching situation and the state of UNLV basketball. And look, the attendance, it's an honest question, right? Because you pointed it out, Anthony. It's not like the landscape is drastically different, right, than it was back when you played at UNLV. You guys were it in UNLV as far as sports in Las Vegas. Yeah. And starting as early as just a matter of months from now, we're going to have the Las Vegas Raiders here. We're going to have the Vegas Golden Knights, and there's going to be that even bigger battle for the almighty dollar as far as disposable income for people here in Vegas. And I think something has to take place where something maybe drastic has to take place for the Rebels to kind of get in that mix, right, Anthony?
And not only that, but you've got the Summer League selling 19,000 tickets almost every single day, and there's going to be an NBA team here, I would say, within 3 years.
I agree. You know what's killing the attendance there, Chris?
What?
Do you know what's killing the attendance there?
They don't have a mini putt golf course on the concourse?
Top golf.
Anthony, full disclosure, Dennis is the golf guru here in Vegas, so he's partial. Okay. He's partial to the links. You had a chance. You had a chance, Anthony, to play overseas. You played in Belgium, of course, the Netherlands, as well as Israel.
Right, as well as Israel, yeah.
That had to be a tremendous experience for you, getting a chance to play professionally overseas.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And, I enjoyed my time over there, and I'm looking to go back next season. But it's just a great experience. You work so hard your whole life to, reach a goal and to play basketball, and to be able to travel the world and see things that I read about in the history books as a kid that I thought I would never be able to see. to experience those things and be able to make money doing what I love. There's no really greater joy than doing that. So it was definitely an experience meeting different people, different, just cultures and things like that to bring back home and share with my people here. It was great.
Former running Red Bull, Anthony Marshall, joining us here on the Vegas Take with his perspective on all things UNLV basketball and, of course, some views as well as on the dance and his career as well. Anthony, we appreciate the time. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon, okay, as soon as we find out what exactly the direction that UNLV decides to go with a coach.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot, Anthony.
Thanks,
Hey,
Anthony.
good luck to you, buddy.
Yeah. Anthony Marshall, and of course he's referring to he had an unfortunate injury last year where he tore his Achilles tendon,
right?
And so that can be a tough thing, especially a guy that's he's in his prime. He's 27 years old. It's not like he's on the backside of his career. So that's a tough thing to deal
apparently
with.
he's all good because he says he's going back next year.
Yeah, and why not? I mean, if you have the ability and you have the
Dennis,
opportunity to do that, why not?
For knowing nothing about basketball, you did pretty well there.
He was trying to interject the golf stuff on it though.
I thought,
as someone, did you hear that, JD? As someone
impressed.
who's not all that thrilled about March Madness, he had to lay that out there.
Damn about March Madness. I mean,
we're talking to a former college basketball player, and that's the way that Dennis goes. It was great. 702-257-5396 is the phone number. Dennis Silver's going to be taking things over, rolling along in a few minutes.
I can't believe you guys are bailing. I can't believe you're bailing.
JD's got prior engagements. He's heading to the West Coast. He's heading down to SoCal.
I am heading to the more West Coast, I guess.
Yes,
the
more south or
the Western Coast,
Southern California,
San Diego.
Yes, San Diego.
Be a good time.
Awesome.
Great town.
It's awesome. There.
Love it. Gaslamp District. Are you kidding me? Always have a good time there. Had a chance to hit some Padre games there last summer. I'll be back doing it again this year. It's a good spot, JD. San Diego.
It's a great spot.
Yes. Myself, I have a prior employment that I need to handle this weekend. It's going to be wild on the Strip this week. It's crazy.
You think
all
so?
the March Madness stuff going down. There's conventions in town. I don't know what the conventions are, but there's people floating around.
There's going to be a lot of good 2-4 action too, Chris. A lot of these tours are going to come in, these little fishy tours.
Yes.
Play some 2-4.
2-4.
You better blow them up.
Yeah.
I am going to get. Yeah. I got to get the game ready, baby.
I got to do it.
Be ready to roll down to the Orleans and try to get pocket aces. Try to line that up. I can do it. Yeah, there'll be some poker players also in town, without a doubt. So I assume Dennis, you're probably going to get back into all the news, Washington D.C. style, right? With respect to Donald Trump and as well as the investigation.
I'd love to hear from people. We'll talk about the Mueller report, talk about whatever, but let's talk about some golf. Damn it! I mean, a lot of you listeners play golf. You got any question about the majors or players or whatever? Give me a shout out, man. I mean, let me hear from you.
And there was a lot of people rooting for the old guy last week, right? In the Players' Championship, of course, with Jim Furyk being right there in the mix.
Especially
and I say old guy softly, JD, because he's my age. So
right. Especially golf gambling. There was a time 6 months ago. I met Dennis for the first time probably a year ago.
Yep.
And it seems longer.
Within the first week of meeting him, he had showed me a ticket 50-1. He took a golfer 50-1 that ended up winning. He only took 3 golfers.
Yeah, that's solid.
And one of those golfers 50-1.
Yeah.
So
you're taking a shot.
He really knows his stuff.
JD, I thought I did pretty good with picking 2 of the 4 major champions.
I was actually very impressed.
On my show today on the new Las Vegas Sand Trap on Facebook Live, a cheap plug. My gal that I had on today is a wonderful teacher. She picked 3 out of the 4. Now, that's pretty strong.
Wow. Well, you pointed out is that he
strong.
took JD. What you pointed out is that he took the 50-1 shot, but did the 50-1 shot come in? Did he win it?
Yes.
Okay. Then that's the important thing because we can take him all day long.
Yeah.
I'm saying, you know what? I'm taking my guy Brian Stewart. I'm taking my Michigan boy.
He only took
Brian
3.
Stewart at 100-1.
One was 12-1. One was 30-1. One was 50-1.
Yeah.
And out of those 3, the 50-1 hit.
Yeah,
I'm going to take take my VJ Singh at 75-1 and try to knock out a W. I think he can do it.
Yeah, how about 250-1 VJ? I mean, come on, go to Ellis Island already, will you? For crying out loud,
they got a nice tall one there waiting for me, baby. I'll catch some of the Valspar Championship going on.
Very underrated barbecue.
It's the Vegas Take coming your way on a Friday. We'll close it out with the final segment. Dennis Silvers is going to take you home. I'm Chris Wynn in for Brian Shapiro along with J.D. Sharp. We're coming your way live from Las Vegas on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
All right. right, welcome back, everybody, to the last half hour of the Vegas Take here, right on KDWN 720 AM. I am Dennis Silvers filling in for everybody. Everybody bailed. I mean, JD was going to San Diego, and Chris Wynn left, and, of course, you know, Brian Shapiro unfortunately has a little bit of the flu. But you know what? Give me a call here at 257-5396. You want to talk about politics? You want to talk about golf? Of course, that's what I do. But anything you want to talk about. And I wanted to ask our last guest what he thought about somebody like Nate Oates. Who is Nate Oates? He's Buffalo's basketball coach. He's kind of the run and gun coach, and somebody that might be good for UNLV, but I didn't get a chance to do it. So if you got any questions about that, give me a call, 257-5396. I'd love to talk to you about the Mueller thing, about Trump, about anything. And again, you know, it's about golf. That's about what I do. Any of the players, the Valspar going on, that's tied with Paul Casey. And I think I talked to a really nice guy, Austin Cook, who I talked to last year at TPC Summerlin when we had our Shriners event here. Nice guy, very, very good player, and I think he's just going to break out again pretty soon. Valspar is an interesting championship at Innsbruck Resort in Palm Harbor, Florida. It's a wonderful, wonderful golf course. It's not easy at all. But if you got some feelings on the Masters that's coming up, of course, at Augusta National pretty soon. If you got any favorites on that, I'd love to hear about it. Give you my humble opinion. I know I'm doing my homework, and I think I'm going to be betting on somebody here pretty soon, or a couple of people. I did pretty good last year. I got 2 for 4, which ain't bad. And as I mentioned before we went to the half-hour break, I had a gal on named Amy Fox, who's LPGA National Teacher of the Year a few years back. She teaches in Texas, in Arlington, Texas. She got 3 out of 4 major championship winners, and that's pretty darn good. So I'm going to have to call her again or text her or whatever and find out what her secret is and what she does, on that. So love to hear from you, 257-5396. Like to get some callers and find out if you guys go out to the Shriners Hospitals for Children Open at TPC Summerlin. They're well into, 5-6 years of sponsorship. I know they just re-upped for another 3 years. And it's tough that time of year in October. They're going to be in early October because of the compressed schedule this year on the PGA Tour. That's another thing I'd like to get some opinion on, whether you think that's good for the tour or not, whether that puts any extra pressure on players figuring out their schedules, especially for the majors. It could be very, very. I think it's a good thing. PGA Tour finally realized that they're competing against the big elephant in the room, and that's the NFL, and there's no way they could do that, so they can press the schedule. And we just finished with the Players' Championship, which was held years back, just last week where it was before they moved it a little bit later in the year. Very, very good tournament. It kind of was exciting with Jim Furyk hanging in there until the last minute. And, of course, Jim is the U.S. captain for the upcoming President's Cup, as is Ernie L. is the captain for the Europeans. And Jim could still play golf. He could still make it. So let me hear from you. 257-5396. We'd like to discuss that a little bit with you because I've got some opinions on that stuff as well. But again, as was it was interesting in the paper, the big headlines. Gosh, the new Raider Stadium is behind schedule, and you'd go, this is serious. Why are they behind schedule? It was only a week because they couldn't get some steel or something like that. I don't know, seats or whatever. It was only a week. believe me, they will be up and running in time, just like the new Las Vegas ballpark out in Summerlin. Got a little bit behind, but those guys are doing a yeoman's job of getting ready for the home opener. I believe it is April the 6th, if I'm not mistaken. They're playing their first home game against Sacramento. And I live right near there. I drive by there every day. It is a beautiful, beautiful stadium. And hats off to Don Logan, because he had a little hand in designing the stadium as well. And as you probably know, as you probably read, as you probably heard, they put down the turf last Thursday, and it just looks absolutely awesome. And I know they're sold out for the first game, just a little bit over 10,000. There's, it's like standing room only, literally. So I'm looking forward to being out there, and they're going to have a whale of a season. I got to be honest with you, the Howard Hughes Corporation bought the team. Don Logan's still in charge, and it's the Las Vegas Aviators. I'd like to hear your comment on the logo as well. There's been from people I know, the other people in the media that I know that I see every once in a while, or have lunch with or whatever, a little bit of controversy in the sense that a lot of them aren't really crazy about the logo, about the shades and about the pilot and the whole thing, and you knew it was going to be something like that, but they think maybe the logo might be a little severe. So what do you think? Give me a holler, 257-5396. And we will discuss it. But again, I'm looking forward to their home opener. And again, I think the season tickets sold out in a heartbeat. 10,000 people. They've got luxury boxes there. It's absolutely fantastic. So that is a hot part of town. You've got Las Vegas Ballpark. You've got City National Arena, where the Golden Knights practice. If you haven't been there, it's fantastic. Mackenzie River is right upstairs, of course, owned again by Bill Foley, who's a great guy. He's going to be on my podcast pretty soon, as is Don Logan. He was supposed to come on, but he got a little bit under the weather. Couldn't reschedule him again, obviously, because the guy doesn't have time to breathe. He's busy getting this ballpark open, getting acquainted with his new team, with his new roster of players. But after they open up, he'll come on the show. Our podcast, the new Las Vegas Sand Trap, on Facebook Live that we do on Fridays at noon. Sometimes we go tape to live because of the guest schedule. They can't always do Friday at noon, but we've had a great lineup of guests, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But with the Raiders coming here, I mean, that's really where it's at. Fortunately, they were able to sign a deal to play in Oakland for the next year, and we'll see what happens. Everybody's anticipating for them to come here. I think it's just a shot in the arm for everybody. There's a lot of discussion about if people here got screwed with the deal, with the $750 million that taxpayers are paying, whether they think it's worth it or not, how the deal is constructed. It depends on who you talk to, whether they think that's a good deal or not. But all is going to be forgiven, I guarantee you, when they get here and they start filling the stands and creating a lot of excitement. And I think by the time they do get here, hopefully they will have a little more of a winning team, if you will. Terrible season last year, but I think they're going to be in good shape by the time they hit Las Vegas. We hopefully they will be. One big issue is their parking. They still don't have a lot of parking, a lot of speculation as to where they're going to go. I know they've been trying to make a play for Bally High, the golf course. They want to buy that. They want to raise it. They want to build a parking structure underground there. They're looking at some other places. I think Las Vegas Golf Club is one, and that can either only could do something minimally as far as height. They may have to go underground there. because of the restrictions that the airport has. So it's going to, but they do need more parking. Absolutely, quite a bit of parking, as a matter of fact. So we'll see what they do. So let me hear from you. 257-5396. Give us a call. Anything you want to talk about, I'm game for it, and love to talk. Like I say, I love to talk to you. Either about some basketball, about March Madness, about golf, about politics, about the Mueller report being released today. And I could just see Attorney General Barr going home this weekend with the report and say, "Honey, I'm locking myself in the den for 2 days. I've got to go over this report and decide what I'm going to release, if anything. If I'm going to do a summary to make public, to give to President Trump, and it's all up to him. It's on his shoulders. The Democrats could do what they want. They could file as many lawsuits as they want. They could do what they want in any committees they want. They can't do a damn thing. It's constitutionally mandated by law that he is the man. He could give it up. He doesn't have to do squat douche with it. I certainly think that he's going to release most of it. Of course, there could be some national security things involved that he's going to have to extract from the report. But I do think after almost 3 years, after I thought it was $25 million, but Brian Shapiro called in earlier and corrected me. He said it wasn't that much money. Maybe it was half of that. Whatever it was a hell of a lot of money. And I think the American public not only is entitled to see it, they want to see it. And I'm in agreement with that. And it's going to be interesting to see how it comes out. And I think that if there was any problems for President Trump, you know that somebody on Mueller's team would have leaked something by now. But since there was no leak, since there was a recommendation that there be no further prosecutions, and a couple of people, I think, are, breathing a sigh of relief, including people in the Trump family, like Jared Kushner, his other sons. I think it's all good, and I think he's going to have some stuff to celebrate with it. So anyway, weather's getting good. Spring is here. Good golf weather, obviously. I'm a hot weather guy. I'd like to see summer here every day of the year, but of course that's not reality. But at least with the spring weather, we're getting into some warmer temperatures, getting into May and June, which is absolutely awesome. February was a horrific month for a lot of people, but especially for the golf courses here. When we had that 7 inches of snow a couple of weeks ago, some of the golf courses, they had to close, obviously. Some of them stayed closed minimum of 2 days, some 3 days, I understand. And that's a big hit with a loss of revenue, because I talk to these people every week, and they're just happy that that is over and done with. So I'll tell you what, if you want to call, give me a call, 257-5396. We're going to step away. We're going to take a short break here on the Vegas Take on KDWN 720 AM, and we will be right back with you to close out the show right after these messages. Welcome back, everybody, to the Vegas Take on the new 101.5 FM and 720 AM on KDWN. I'm Dennis Silvers, wrapping up the show without JD, and when Chris Wynn was here, both guys did a good job.
Hannity.
And that's what I meant to say. And of course, Brian Shapiro is sick. He will be back though on Monday. I guarantee you, he's home taking a well-earned rest. And we're trying to get some calls in at 257-5396, whatever you want to talk about. And, of course, the Masters is coming up at Augusta National. It's the first major of the year. I don't know how many people listening out there have been to Augusta. I have been out there a couple of times. It's absolutely, I'll tell you, when I've been, doing golf in golf media for a long time, been watching the Masters for a long time, and it shows you how deceptive television is. The first time I went to Augusta, it was like a different golf course. You just cannot appreciate really the humps and bumps on most of the fairways at Augusta National. You can't appreciate the elevation changes at Augusta National. It's like a different golf course, and it is absolutely beautiful with the trees, the flowers, the scrub there, the chat there. It's fantastic. And, of course, the crowds there are unbelievable. Everybody is all very, very well behaved there. You can pick a location around any of the greens. You can bring your little beach chair there or whatever you want to sit on, and you could be there for a couple of hours, get up, go get something to eat, go to the bathroom or whatever, and when you come back, you don't have to worry about that thing being ripped off. It'll be in the same place as you left it, and it's fantastic. And again, I was amazed the first time there. Every day of the tournament, going in and out of the golf shop there, they do about $1 million a day there. And that's how they raise money for the prize money for most of the tournament. It's just incredible. There's a continuous line, but again, the merchandise there, very, very well, fairly priced. The food is unbelievably inexpensive. When you hear about that, you can get one of their famous cheese sandwiches. You can get a drink. You can get a bag of chips. For like $5. It's just unreal. Anyway, we got a call. We got Edward calling in to the Vegas Take from Las Vegas. Edward, how are you? Thanks for calling in, my friend.
Oh, great. On that stadium thing, they got a very small footprint. I know they want the thing to be close in, but hypothetically, if they build it on the edge of town where they had a big plot of land, it'd be so much easier to stage the steel and assemble the cranes and disassemble them, so they're sandwiched in there. But the question I had for you, like these top golf places seem to be doing good, but a lot of the other courses are closing and that sort of thing. How do they evolve golf to keep things going?
Well, that's a good question, Edward, and I'll tell you, Topgolf is doing well. All of their locations are doing well. I remember a couple of years ago having the CEO of Topgolf on my show, Eric Anderson, and he was talking about their growth plan, and he told me that they were going to open 8 to 10 places a year. And I said, Eric, that's unbelievable. That's unimaginable growth. He says, Dennis, we're going to do it because that's our business model. And I'll be damned, they are doing it, Edward, and all of them are doing very well. Of course, the one that opened in Vegas a couple of years ago was their first flagship store. Why was it a flagship store? Because it was 4 stories instead of 3. They had 2 pools, one on the 3rd floor, one on the 4th floor, which was a private pool with private cabanas, for the so-called, entertainers, the celebrities, the high rollers or whatever. Now they have a second flagship store, which I believe is in Kentucky, and I'm trying to think where in the heck in Kentucky, but it is there. So we have 2 flagship stores. But getting to your question about courses closing, yes, Las Vegas was overbuilt a few years ago as far as the amount of golf courses. And again, it's the market taking hold. We are closing courses. Courses will continue to close all across this country for the next decade. The game is losing players for a number of reasons. It's putting a squeeze on the instructors because their base is shrinking, so to speak. And it's gotten very, very competitive here as far as prices, as far as the type of marketing that you're doing, Edward. I'm assuming you play golf, Edward?
No, I played it. I got soured on it as a kid because I played with a grouch And of course, my dad got a free game, and there was a grouch that spoiled it. But China was going to be a big hope for the golf game.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they put a kibosh on.
You're exactly right. They put a kibosh on building new golf courses, and to this day, I still don't know why, but they were going to be a huge market. They still can be a huge market, but of course they're going to have to change their philosophy. But anyway,
I think they thought it was too elitist, but then again, they got people driving around in Ferraris and Rolls Royces.
You're right.
But for some reason, it was too bourgeois for the capitalist Chinese.
You're right.
I don't get it.
Edward, I don't either. That's a very good point that you bring up. But anyway, I've got to run. Thank you for the call, Edward. Thanks for calling in, and thanks for listening. You know what? We're just about out of time, darn it. I enjoy being here so much, and I look forward to it again. Again, I want to thank JD, and I want to thank Brian Shapiro for letting me sit in and finish the show for the New Vegas Take on 7:20 a.m. I'm Dennis Silvers, and hope to see you soon. So long, everybody.